Trump. This guy just did a tweet, and in true Trump fashion, I loved it. He vows to retaliate against countries that are imposing digital service taxes on US tech firms.
I'm thinking of running my own node at some point.
Now you're a chained man. You're bullish on crypto. You're about to buy your first hardware wallet. I'm Moran and mine.
Full Satoshi. Full
Nakazon.
In the last episode, we were talking about crypto and blah, 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 security risk on the chain. So,
first of all, we need to take a moment here to acknowledge that you've seen the gospel.
I am about to go full Satoshi. I'm about to go full Michael Saylor. I'll be hanging out with Michael Saylor soon.
But Bitcoin is where it's at.
So I ran into two interesting stories that I think are related. They're both security, but in this case, they are more in the crypto field. So one has to do with AI, and we have to check all those boxes. It's AI, and the other has to do with JavaScript.
Okay.
So the first case was of an engineer a Web3 engineer who lost, I think, roughly $500,000.
Okay, that's
because he was using Casa. Casa, the AI
editor, and
he installed an extension pack or an extension for language support for Solidity. So in the same way we usually add language support for Java,
Solidity and stuff.
So Solidity is the language that Web3 engineers use to write their smart contracts.
Yeah.
When you're writing code that interacts
and live on blockchain.
Yes.
Smart contracts.
They're built
Solidity.
Yes. People say it's like the JavaScript for
EVM
Web3.
Yeah, for Web3.
So to enable his work to enable him to write faster, he installed an extension for the Solidity language support, basically giving you the squiggly lines when you're off,
linting,
linting, all that good stuff. But they didn't know that extension was it's not really phishing.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a malware, but whatever it was not as it seemed.
Yeah,
because it came from a fake account, and what that thing was doing. And you have to keep in context because we're talking in the context of engineering. So you have to give the extension permission to run commands, to run code in the background. So in the background, it was installing an agent.
A script,
basically like a team viewer in his laptop, but of course in the background that he couldn't see, and that gave the hackers access to his laptop. So they're able to get his keys, and they're able to perform a transfer of his account, of his funds to their account. And I was like, man, you have to live. And I remember seeing that and just going into my VS Code. Because for me, I'm one of those who's like, hey, can you even remotely do something I want? Install.
Yeah.
Install.
Yeah,
install.
So you were very convenience first. And many people don't understand this. Like the number of packages and dependencies that people install just to get their basics out.
Yes. Now, that's a very good story because it leads me to the second story. Actually, this is quite more recent. It's being reported as the greatest supply chain hack in history, because
people do not know,
because it has targeted the one language that is universally loved and despised, that I work with a lot, JavaScript. Now, for all JavaScript engineers, we know we use this package manager, NPM. It's where people store their libraries, and when I need, let's say I'm working on an app and I need to show text in some color. So I could try to write the code myself, or perhaps someone has written that code before. I could just install it as a dependency in my application.
Correct.
And almost all engineers host their JavaScript libraries on NPM. So what happened was one of the maintainers of NPM was phished. He was sent a malicious link that went to NPM help, NPM support.help or something. Basically, under false pretense, they got him to click a link that reset his two-factor authentication. And so now they were able to access his account. And they added one line of code that embedded malicious code. And what that code was doing was that whenever it detects that you are in Ethereum, in an Ethereum page, or if you are doing anything that has to do with Solana, it would at the last minute switch the receiving address.
And just slightly, ever so slightly. Do you know?
No, maybe not slightly, but what it was doing it in the background.
Yes.
So you still think you're sending to
the correct address.
But just before that request is sent, it swaps out the addresses. So now you're sending money to the hacker's account. And the reason why this was such a big deal is that because they hacked into someone who maintains an
NPM package.
They added it to the packages that are most downloaded. And by most of it, we're talking 2 billion download. Is it weekly downloads? So most, including packages that I use on a regular basis, like debug, Chalk, ANSI, all these packages had that malicious line of code embedded. And so almost all packages that ran or relied on JavaScript were compromised or were assumed to be compromised. And yet the irony is that this guy only was able to steal $20.
Yeah. Before it was flagged.
It was caught quite quickly by a research firm called Akaido, and they were able to report it, patched it, and thank God nothing happened. But I just want to underscore the fact that, and I actually want to reference another story that speaks more to this problem, especially in JavaScript, where around 2016 there was a library that the author deleted. I think it was called LeftPad, and I don't know, millions of other packages just broke down because it's
whole codependencies.
Yes, it's all a chain of dependencies.
Are we now officially? Is it safe to say we're too far abstracted from the infrastructure that we're running on that we do not even know we're living in a house of cards? But we are.
Yes,
deeply indeed in a house of cards.
Software is getting to a point of becoming centralized in the sense that we have packages or dependencies that are so mature, so done, well done and well supported that it's impractical for you to rebuild, to reinvent the wheel. But in doing so, this creates a cascading effect of dependencies.
So we have like inherent trust built into the system. Now we have a false sense of stability.
Yeah. So like from this hack, practically every JavaScript engineer would consider themselves to be compromised because for as long as they downloaded the latest version, they had malicious code, even if it wasn't in something that they themselves were using. Like I could have listed these as my dependencies, and none of them were compromised, but they could have a dependency on the compromised packages.
Yeah,
and that's again just only serve to show the problem that you have, that we have now. In that this is, as you said, it's now a house of cards. So if you are an engineer, not just an engineer, but if
specifically you're in crypto, by the way, you have three. Yeah. And most of your stuff, let's say you're sending a lot of transactions digitally and things like that, you must do a health check. You must do a health check.
We call it having good OPSEC. You need a hardware wallet. You need one that will show you the transaction before it's done, so you can confirm the receiving address. You need to be, and I know I got you there. Fortunately, I've not put that much money, so if something is taken, strong. But
that's another maybe like some PSA to do as well in crypto. Like if you're hardcore in crypto and you maintain a sizable position in crypto, you must think about segregated wallets.
Yes.
How do you have hot and cold, like a mix of hot and cold wallets? If you're knee deep, if you're knee deep in things,
if the amount of money you hold in crypto is an amount that you're not willing to lose, then you
must have good hygiene.
Yes,
you must have good
hygiene. That is the word.
In fact, I would literally say you need to almost go as knee deep into like non-custodial wallets and like have a proper understanding.
You need a proper hardware wallet.
Yeah, multi-sig wallets. Like you need to understand.
Put it across.
You need to understand
wallets as
like
well.
layers of
security,
good health, ops that you need to have when it comes to like maintaining crypto assets. But we can do a deep dive of that.
We'll probably do a deep dive of that in future. But also in general, this person, this engineer who was phished, isn't some intern.
He's like. If this guy is like deep into maintaining packages in NPM, you're front end vibe code over there.
They always say you're gonna don't click a link, copy it, paste it, and then see
see the.
But always remember, in this system, the weakest link is always the humans, because they're the ones who succumb to convenience. And
100%.
so in all you're doing, just be careful out there. It might not be crypto, it might be your bank account. And guys will go all the way. The phishing site will look exactly like your banking.
The game must change, man.
The game must change. The game must change.
Crime is on a different level, bruh. It's like a different play.
You are fair on everything.
Password managers. Oh my days. Like, anyway, don't even get me started. That's a rabbit hole. I don't know if it can come out.
Yeah, this was more of a PSA than an actual story. Yeah. But that's what's going on in crypto.
But I mean, I'm just happy. Now you're a changed man. You're bullish on crypto. You're about to buy your first hardware wallet. Let's go, man. Let's go.
I'm thinking of running my own node at some point.
You just do a Murang and mine
full Satoshi.
Full Nakazonko. Anyway, bruh. Trump. China.
We like to keep things civil. We like to stay away from politics. We have no sides except the one that we think in the back of our minds, which is why now we go to Trump.
Yeah. Anyway, this guy just did a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
And in true Trump fashion, I loved it. This one I actually loved. This is one of the few, not one of the few, one of the many off-texts that he does that really just make me happy. So, he does a tweet, and then he vows to retaliate against countries that are imposing digital service taxes on US tech firms. Because he was just basically threatening new tariffs on their exports and saying that, hey, everyone is not just dumping on US tech, big tech companies, leaving them with heavy taxation.
You do not get to bully US tech. That's my job.
Yeah, basically, in a nutshell, he said,
it's bully there. It's a no one can bully my small brother but me kind of vibe.
Yeah. So, I saw the threat and I genuinely had a lot of mixed reactions. Let me just start by saying, and maybe this is the same case for many markets everywhere, but taxation in general is a problem for many countries.
Especially where the internet is concerned.
Exactly. But now, in markets, African markets specifically, I just feel like, dude, like, the way we do our taxation policy is like very, very broken. It's almost always knee-jerk reactions, a new levy being added here and there. To be honest, like borderline unfair.
Don't get me started, because recently I was driving, I think it was towards Magadi, and then we got to a point where we stopped. They were doing the whole cess, where you pay for cess. It's if you're moving, especially agricultural goods, you have to pay.
Yeah.
For crossing. I'm like, this is the highest form of rent seeking I've seen. This should have died years ago. And it's like, but because I know that it's easier to just add the price instead of adding value. And if you're a government, you have a monopoly on force and on policy. I just felt it was so sad.
So imagine the same. So you're running an Uber Eats. You have to comply with all the local government or the local regulation taxes. So you're still paying your corporate income tax, you're still paying your value-added tax for your services. And then, because you're a new category, they do not know how to classify your business. So they're like, hey, let's just slap an excess duty here. Because, we do not exactly understand your business, but you make money.
But we know you are something.
So they're like, so we need 3% on your gross turnover. But more than that, we're like, but we really don't care about the small guys. You're a big player. So now we do like in Kenya right now, there's one called, I think, significant SEP tax, significant economic presence tax. Roughly equivalent to like a 30% take on CAT. I am no tax expert, but I know enough to know that even if I was, it would be so hard just to keep up with how these things change. Now that's in Kenya alone. The story is like 50-fold when you start extrapolating it to many markets in Africa. And then markets like India. And to be honest, like, many people say that Trump is a bully. But this is one of those situations where I'm like, this is like bullying for good. But I don't know.
Let me ask you. If I'm a Kenyan company, I provide software globally, and then I make money from people in the UK. Let's say I make $1 million. Where should those taxes be paid? Should they be paid in Kenya because I'm a Kenya company, or should they be paid in UK, which is where I basically made that 10 million?
Now, I'm not going to perjure myself here and try to get into the weeds of international tax, because I know there are people who really study hard for these kinds of things.
Yeah, but they don't know.
I'm gonna. They don't. This guy.
They don't have 200 subscribers, man.
So, guys, pay your taxes is what we're gonna officially say. However, here's the thing. I know for many of these companies, if you have significant presence in that particular market, you almost always cannot get away without having like local entities there, subject to whatever their data protection laws and whatever, everything. Now, my problem, and maybe this is a problem that cuts across, maybe not just tech firms and digital firms, maybe it cuts across different verticals, and I'm sure many people in other verticals can come here and complain in the comment section about how taxation is not fair for, the agricultural industry and stuff like that. But in terms of like just bar for bar fairness, I think it's not really an issue of just like what is being taxed. It's just that you just never know, like it's not clear. Like we're making it a whole convoluted loop of all these things that you have to jump over, and it might change with an act in 6 months. So there's no stability, there's no certainty, which just basically makes it like very hard to do business.
Okay, now take us back to the tweets.
So now for me, what the tweet made me rationalize was like, okay, so basically he's saying if you wake up tomorrow, add new levies, add new taxes, be ready for retaliation with things like tariffs and things.
If you wake up tomorrow and add a new levy on American tech firms.
Now here's the thing. He's saying it, of course, for US tech firms, but implementation-wise, it has to cut across. Because you see, if, let's say, a local government here levies like a 3% digital service tax, which is like some form of excess duty on all tech firms, it also affects your e-com store. It affects your drop shipping business over there. Like, yes, if you're doing like, minuscule revenue. However, it applies to everyone. And now you who's like really, really local, your entire existence is pegged on your presence in one market, right? So you're still paying the local corporate income taxes. You're still paying, maybe you have a payroll. So you're paying, pay as you earn taxes for your employees. And still on top of that, you're still paying the one that's meant to capture the big players, the Uber Eats, the Google have a situation, the Netflix,
the Metas.
Yeah, the Metas and the Netflixes. So, I mean, it's a win for even the folks who are still doing like, digital services, even though it's like protectionist for the US. And that's why I saw me, I'm like, yeah. Shoot, then let's talk later.
Yeah, this is a bit of a tangent, but I think kind of speaks to the whole regulation around tech. Kiwi farms, and was it Fortune?
Kiwi.
Yes. American tech companies, social medias, smaller ones nonetheless, but what they did, they I think, were they suing the UK government, telling them, you can't tell me, an American company, what to do with my platform. I'm not in your jurisdiction. If someone should access me from UK, they're still accessing services over
an international entity.
And I was curious,
one entity that's domiciled elsewhere.
Yes. So what do you think of that? Does that hold merit?
Globalization is a maze, man. It is.
If right now I go to Apple website, actually I've just opened the website, it says it's open. Am I accessing the website in US or in Kenya?
Probably. Actually, the servers that are actually even returning that data are probably US based.
The servers are in Europe, but that's another story.
The servers are in Europe, or maybe even the US one.
Or South Africa.
Or South Africa, or somewhere. So, really, where is the domicile for value? I think the domicile for value is going to be where, first of all, the entity is presided over, where jurisdiction-wise, right? And now that becomes a scaling problem. In fact, it's one of those things where I can even say I'm having like a front row experience how to classify international taxation. Like what portion of revenue is accrued to that particular country and what portion
it's easy
back in the
for brick and mortar stores, even at large scale, it's still easy to say I built this cup in US, but I've sold it to you here. You've exchanged Kenyan shillings for this cup. Like the sale has clearly happened here, so you will account that sale
for the
in this country. But if I see an ad in Facebook, where has that sale occurred, or where has that interaction occurred? Because it's just happened online, but you can't really pinpoint the jurisdiction where the interaction or that sale has actually happened. Like if I call an Uber,
so I think a simplistic model of that is just basically to say how many people you have in a particular market. Like what's the rev you're making in a particular market. That's the first place that I think you begin to draw a distinction. So it doesn't matter if your product is commoditized, like globally, let's say you are running Netflix. All that I care about as, for instance, Kenya,
how many
Kenyan subscribers?
How many Kenyans paid you for your service?
Yeah.
But now, what about something like Facebook, where Kenyans used your service, but the advertisers are from all the other countries in the world?
I would actually say that still can be tracked, because I think if you just look at OpenAI, Anthropic. In fact, this is actually a very interesting exercise. I think I was paying for a new subscription on Claude, Anthropic, and I noticed that because I'm paying with my Kenyan bank account, my Kenyan card, like I have like an extra 3% levy, and you can actually check. I don't know if it's 3%, but there's like a new tax that was added, that was banded on top. Like in fact, GST, but Kenya should be probably in that list of markets being looked at with regards to like guys who are adding DSTs everywhere. And I noticed that it's slightly more expensive. But now what's interesting is because we actually have company cards.
But you used a VPN.
I'm not saying we use a VPN. I'm just saying we also have company cards in other jurisdictions, and you're like, oh yeah, pricing disparity. But hey, why would you complain that your Spotify in Kenya costs cheaper, like it's cheaper than what you'd pay for Spotify in the US or the UK?
It is commensurate to the market.
So now it's commensurate.
It is commensurate to the market. That's all I'm going to say.
At the end of the day, there are ways that you can be able to like segregate like what rev and apportion it to whichever country that you're serving. But there must be some form of revenue that has to go to the government of like the particular nation that you're serving. That's not my problem. The problem is the fairness of it. Yeah. That is my issue. If there's no fairness, if there's no clear framework for how that can be done, I think that's a problem. If you just wake up any other day and change it, that's a problem. Now that's where I agree with like now Trump's tweet.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Now, I want to add one more. Just squeeze in one more story, and it's about Android and the ship of Nissus. Is it the ship of Nissus?
Huh? What is that?
It's the thought experiment that if I have a ship and over time I keep replacing parts in the ship until the point where none of the original parts that were there during the creation of the ship are currently present, are still existing. Is it still the same ship?
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. So, to that effect, Android has announced that they're going to require developer registration, even for side-loaded apps. So, you don't have to download them from Google Play, but they're going to need to be registered. They're going to have to. The developer has to verify the account and link it to a package. So, even if I sideload a package,
in the App Store, not in
yes. Even if I just install the APK and download, the developer of that same package would need to be verified.
So I can't actually. Is this basically saying that I cannot download any app outside of the Play Store.
No, you can.
If the developer is not.
No, they don't have to host it on Play.
No, I know. They do not have to.
They only need to verify that this package is theirs.
Let me guess. Malware.
Security. Yes, because of security. Because
Okay.
And now the question that people are asking is, are we seeing Android become more and more like iOS? That now you might as well say that is this really? People are having that kind of philosophical question where like, hey, is this really the same Android that we once? Because I mean, the biggest claim that people had was, hey, it's yours. Do whatever you want to. Shoot yourself in the foot. Do you want to break this device? And slowly by slowly, to make the platform more secure, to make it more again, like we said, people losing their money, or people getting scammed, or people breaking their own device. You start adding guardrails. Does it get to a point where you say, this is clearly something different?
It's not free market as it used to be. It is not as open source as it used to be. It's just another version. And the short answer is yes, bro. In my opinion, Android just basically iOSified themselves.
And if I could actually point to iOS, remember iOS were forced to open up to allow other competing stores, and so in the EU you can have people install applications from other stores, but those same apps need to be notarized with Apple. So they will not allow you to install. So it's kind of the same thing where, hey, you must be verified as a developer for you to even if your package is being installed from another store, you still have to verify with us. And they recently took down, what's the name of this app? They took down it's a torrent application.
Oh, you not BitTorrent. It's I know.
I'm trying to remember the name.
You torrent. Okay, we can pull it up.
Yeah,
somewhere here.
Yes, editor.
Yes. Okay, good.
And people pointing to that saying, hey, this is a slippery slope.
I think so. Here's something. I'm just still manning from Android's perspective.
Yeah,
it's always hard to start being protectionist when you've been known to be the free market guy, but it's easier to be losing to lower the fences when you're always a walled garden and now you're becoming quote unquote more open source.
Yeah.
However, I think the name of the game here is, for Apple, its biggest moat was its walled garden. Everything was controlled through one like distribution channel, them, and they were literally collecting rent on that.
Yeah.
Like, people have fought it to the point where now, when iOS and whatever became ubiquitous, now we're like, hey, it's too protectionist, guys. You have to make it optional for people to
let us in.
And the extent with which Apple lost that case is to literally make third-party developers be able to register. And I think this was like the best strategy for Android, if on the Android team, to try and show up your moat. Basically say, if you guys have said that Apple is compliant to the degree with which they just only have to register developers, that means you can show up a little bit of a moat and gain by basically like having to register third-party developers. And then what do you do after that? Slap a reason like, oh, yeah, it's because actually when you look at the statistics for malware and security, bro, these statistics have been there. When was Android started?
I cannot remember.
A while ago, right?
Let me say 2, 4, 5. I don't know.
Before 5. Has to be after iPhone, right? So maybe.
No, remember, it didn't start as... It was used for Palm Pilots, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, interesting. Anyway, the point is...
Was it cameras?
These same statistics that they are citing for, like, as a reason as to why...
But the biggest difference you have to consider is the 2 billion devices. We have to remember that Android is the largest operating system globally, being used on majority of cell phones. Its extent has gone way past even just the smartphone. TVs,
and they can secure that position.
That surface level is just so huge that for them, even a small percentage being under the threat of security would still be a very huge number.
I disagree, bro. I disagree completely. The same threat of security has been there for the last 10 years plus, right? The only thing that has changed right now is the fact that Apple has been forced to lower their fences, and they've only conceded to the degree where they have to register third-party devs. Now, if I'm Android and I already have, I'm still the largest like OS, right? 2 billion devices. How do we protect that moat even more? Just go back to regulators and say, the same standard that you guys have given Apple
will work with that
standard. And then we just use a reason that basically justifies it. And I'm telling you the security reason. I'm not saying that it is not important, but I'm saying that they've been experiencing this. Why? I think the question here I'm asking is like, why now?
Why now?
Why now? Why now basically tells me all the context that I needed to know. They're just defending their moat. Defend them.
Do you think they'll be affected by it?
No. I don't think. Because what's the
alternative? Still, the majority of the applications are still distributed via.
Yeah. In fact,
Google Play.
It's just a ruthless business move. I mean, all props to the leadership of the Android team. I think it's the rational step to take, but it's horrendous for devs. And
devs will have to go to Graphene OS.
Man,
they have to join the dark side.
Yeah,
I'm going full crypto, man. Graphene OS.
You are, bro. I can see
Satoshi.
Anyway, guys, it's been a good one. It's been a long one.
Thank you for joining us on this ride. Do let us know what you think about any of the things that we mentioned. Even if you didn't think anything, just put a full stop, and we'll accept all the comments you can take. Like, subscribe,
hype.
Those hitting. Oh, we didn't get to talk about the hype feature.
Talk about it.
If you see any button saying hype anywhere, you smash it.
Spam it. Don't spam hype before you.
Yes. We'll see you on the next one.